All right, everybody. Welcome to another installment of the Dismount Podcast. As we saddle up, we are discussing and talking today sports and competition. Are they good for us, or are they helping the divide and conquer global narrative?
Look at that haircut, bro. I spent $40 on this haircut.
Woo! That's
Titty,
not that bad.
Titty, what do you think?
I need to get my haircut today. It's on the schedule.
I called.
I think it looks perfect too.
One
I was
week
gonna
out?
say, yeah. I did mine 10 days. Yeah, I did mine 10 days. I figured 10 days. If I need a trim, I'll get it. I called a guy on Wednesday. This was Wednesday. I made a call to try to get a guy to buy season tickets, and he was interested. He was like, "Yeah, I always got money coming in. I gotta get off the phone. I got a customer here." I was like, "What do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a barber." I'm like, "Oh yeah, where?" He's like, "Swickley." I was like, "Got a spot for 1:30?" He's like, "Yep." Like, all right, see you then.
Nice.
Went out and got my haircut. He killed it. He's great.
Nice.
Yeah, good haircut.
Heck yeah.
It was
Smart move.
Justin. Good dude.
Well played.
Yeah.
Well played on the sales skills.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. He's going to buy something. So figured I'd go visit him. Got a good haircut. Double the price I usually spend on a haircut, so it can't be bad, right? Is that how that works?
Normally a $20 guy.
25, I think.
25.
With a tip 30. With him, it was 35, tip 40. So actually only $10 more.
Okay.
$10 more. I did drive a lot more. Usually I walk to get my haircut. But yeah, no, I figured the guy's going to buy something. Least I could do is go give him some patronage.
Yeah, my dad can easily spend $40-$50 on every haircut.
Damn,
Yeah.
I'm cheap as hell sitting here.
Like,
No, I
what
prefer the
the fuck?
$10 haircuts. Like there's a place, Ray Jerry's is still down Noblestown. Right near all, like when you come, you sneak the back way through
Yeah.
Green Tree. There's like the Taco Bell and the Enterprise. And then that plaza right there is where I usually get my haircut. That's a $15 haircut. It's a good haircut.
$15
Bunch of
haircut.
old Italian Johns.
That's why I used to go to Sircones in Bloomfield. I own like half of Bloomfield. There's Sircones.
Really?
Yeah, but I guess around the time I was there, I think one of the Sircones passed away, like the owner or something, like the head honcho.
That's the issue of getting your hair cut by an older gentleman is I had the same thing. I had a guy lose, I don't know, whatever, talk about it. I think he had like his wife died or something. He used to cut the shit out of my hair and his wife died. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to cut hair anymore." I'm like, "I don't blame you." I was like, "You should go like enjoy your life, bro. Don't worry about my hair. We're all good."
We're not worried about the hair.
I have it keeps
Mar.
coming all day.
Huh?
Mar.
It keeps coming all day,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the hair doesn't stop.
No.
especially for you, dog.
Oh, geez, I'm a woolly mammoth.
Oh, you Kevin Baxter
Yeah.
over here,
I'm a woolly
or
mammoth.
Evan
Dude.
Baxter.
I shaved, did the fresh shave with Maisie a month out because I knew I was like, yeah, a month, it still won't even grow back.
No.
But we'll be good.
Can we all do mustaches for the wedding?
The only thing I can. That would be amazing.
Brandon is 6 days out from the first of back-to-back wedding ceremonies.
Back to back.
Back to back, bro. Jordan 96, 97. He's getting married twice.
Whew.
96, 97.
It's a Mormon's life.
Yeah.
Is that how they do it?
What?
Do they just like line it up like does a Mormon who marries like 10 women? Do they line it up like, okay, for the next week and a half, we're gonna have a wedding every day?
No.
I mean, that would be wild.
That'd be crazy,
That'd be wild
though.
festivities.
They have to go on dates while they're married. Like, oh, hey, this is my wife, Karen. This is my wife, Sylvia. This is my wife, Eve. Like, hey, Eve. Hey, everyone. This is Rachel. And then I love for them to be there when he proposes, and it's like, the fuck, this was a lot nicer than mine.
Wow.
Yeah, I was young and stupid when I married you. I was like, what does that say? Like, nothing.
Oh, jeez.
Could you? They already knew all their names.
Can you imagine them all? This is a controversial subject, but can you imagine them all getting a period at once? Like, fuck that. I'm going fishing. That's it. I'm done. I'm ready for the weekend. I don't even fish. I'm just gonna sit on the boat with my thoughts.
Well, I mean,
Sit on a
all right,
boat,
let's go into topics we don't know anything about. Don't all women's periods sink once they spend time like around each other?
Actually,
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, over a long time they will.
So would you rather spend 3 weeks of having intercourse with every wife you have at any point you like and 1 week completely off, or would you want consistency across the board where you can always have a little something?
Probably 1 week off.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I'd be okay with the 1 week off. 3 weeks of whatever I want and 1 week off.
While you're gone, though, like, it could be setting up a mutiny.
A mutiny. A mutiny. Setting up a mutiny.
I just don't think that's a good system to have multiple lives. I'm like, no, it doesn't seem like.
I mean, okay, so
it seems like a reckless, like a, I don't know. It seems like a wild life.
It's a bit misogynistic of me, but I'm like, I don't think men can traditionally handle more than one woman.
I can't.
I don't think most guys can handle the divine feminine itself, you know?
Dude, I don't even think I can tell you what I ate for lunch 2 days ago.
So sports.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking of which, do you want me to lead this? I'd be happy to. I can talk. I can look at these and I could talk on any of this all day.
Yeah, go for
it. To lead this.
So
yeah, go for it.
So if we're talking through dividing and conquering as far as like sports go, or good for the general good of the order, I guess. I think the immediate question would be like, what is an example of both? So if we're talking, are sports good for bringing communities together, or are they more something that drives us apart? I think maybe an example of each would be beneficial. I think I can stand on one side of the fence pretty easily and give a ton of good examples why, but that's not the point of the podcast. I knew that's not what Zach had in mind when he had this. So I'd love to hear examples from Zach first.
No, I mean, you should. I feel like you should have your.
You want me to lie it down first?
I mean, if you want to,
I'd be happy to.
Yeah, if you don't.
So
have
bringing
to,
together,
what side do you? I don't care what side of the fence you want to be on.
No, I'm not stating that there's a side of the fence I prefer to be on. I'm just saying there's one I would lean more towards than the other. But I'm curious of what you have to say. I can at least.
My thoughts are sports are fantastic for competition itself. I think what ends up happening is we get so stuck in the everlasting cycle of wanting to be the best that what frustrates me with sports is the cheating and like the doping and doing stuff like that. Like,
so you're taking not a fan's perspective, you're taking an actual athlete's perspective on this.
More yes.
Okay.
More so.
Yeah. Okay. No, expand.
Like it frustrates me that there are potentially some kids that are like younger from like different countries that like their whole like apparatus is probably not the best word to use, but like their whole
paradigm or approach?
Yeah, their approach for sports or the competition that ultimately brings in so much of their economy from it. They push these kids to do some very rash things. Like, I guess there's a lot of doping going on right now in the like ultra like running world, like marathons and ultra marathons and all that kind of stuff. Like, all these kids are pretty young and they're doping up pretty hard right now to be able to run these ridiculous races like way faster than anybody's ever ran them. Right. And like, to me, that's just like, I don't know, man. That's where the sports take too much of where they start to for me, start to divide people, between the people who are willing to do this like rash, potentially negative thing, kind of like dark side, versus trying to just be this like positive light of like, look, this is what you can do when you put a lot of consistency to work and you put your mind towards something and you want to achieve something, versus the Mark McGuire who has his name basically like stripped. And like, you and I remember like having the Mark McGuire like blue wiffle ball bat.
That was my favorite thing in the world, dude. I had a Mark McGuire jersey.
Yeah.
What year was that? That was like, that had to have been where like him.
2000.
Yeah, like him and Sosa were in the home run race. Like, that was the most exciting thing the baseball had ever had in my lifetime. Was when him and Sammy Sosa.
Right?
It was like 2001. I'll say. Okay. Like, was it pre or post 9/11? That's a great question. I'd say 2000. I'd say right before. I'd be curious of that answer. But dude, baseball has never been that exciting. But of course, it's completely tarnished.
backyard baseball is what would make me think of it. And I was thinking like 2003, 2004. That's what
I'm gonna look. Good.
That's what made me think of. No, yes, on the PC for sure, dude. For sure on the PC. It was cool whenever it came out on GameCube and it came out on different stuff. And you could play like on a bigger screen, but the PC was the original way.
It was 1998.
98.
Nice.
Wow.
So we were 6 years old, dude.
Woof. Holy cow. Yeah, that right there is for me where the divide and like the narrative is to divide and conquer people. That's just any person that's out there. You can't sit there and look at history and not say like, oh, well, the great people who I shouldn't say great, but the people who have tried to do these ridiculous things, their whole narrative was to divide and conquer. So that consistent narrative is in our society on a regular basis. Now, I would hope that sports would be something that would allow us to come together in camaraderie of healthy, clean competition,
right,
and advancing ourselves and pushing ourselves out of our comfort zones and making ourselves better or faster or stronger or more efficient versus this like, we got to do this to be able to make money, to be able to perpetuate more of this like shit versus like your major athlete who's sitting there and finally says like, fuck this Coca-Cola, drink water. And even this water isn't that great, but at least drink this over that.
Well, that's the issue is the platforms there. Like think of like UFC fighting, like there's a lot of the UFC guys. I mean, it's not as prevalent now, but they used to go for their post-fight interview, and every single one will be holding a Monster can, and they're an empty Monster can. That's it. They're not even drinking it. No one's ever sitting there like, "Oh, dude, Monster helped me win this award today."
Right?
It's never. Or they used to have the Monster water, where it'd be a Monster can, look exactly the same, but it was water. You'd look down the bottom, it's just a can of water.
Yeah.
But they wanted their logo, the green logo, sitting there, and I mean that's the issue. There is like the prevalence of money in the situation, because I think there's a lot of very good things that happen organically, like territorial wise, like there's this source of energy inside of us that needs to come out through competition in territorial competition. Like that's always been something, and it's probably good that humanity has that type of competition instilled inside of us, because for many years outside of it, it was just fighting each other to the death. And now like that's like, you know, football is as close to, you know, gladiator competition as we have. Something like, I think hockey and UFC are pretty close to it too. People don't give hockey the credit it is, but it's people skating around 20 miles an hour, smashing into each other, fighting each other with their fists. It's like the only sport that you can do pretty much whatever the hell you want. All that being said, it's good to have that healthy competition instilled in us in some way, because I think it's naturally just there.
You can even take your skate off and try to stab somebody.
No, there's a guy in like Europe who just tried stomping on a guy.
Holy shit.
That's a piece of shit move, because that's the understanding is like, you know, there is no like when I think the sportsmanship is the biggest thing too, is like sportsmanship should be a way to show that we can, you know, have those healthy competitions, but not also put each other into a place where like you're signing on a dotted line to be a part of this competition, and what happens within those 60 minutes of being on the ice, for instance, whatever occurs to win the game, you know, we're going to do our best within the rules to win this game, and then at the end of it, we're going to shake each other's hands and pat each other in the back and move on. Does that always work out that way? No, there are people that move really quickly through the handshake line at the end of the playoff series after they're done, you know, beating the shit out of each other. But I think realistically, like the rules are there to help, you know, instill that competition. And when done correctly, it does bring a source of camaraderie on the ice. But there's still that natural, like, you know, I don't appreciate the way this guy did that, or, you know, without the rules, I would have taken advantage, because there is that primal instinct to still want to, you know, drive further. You're still an animal in some ways. And that's only the athletes. Like the fans are a whole different beast too.
Oh yeah, the fans are a whole different situation, because look at the city that we live in and the state that we live in. You know, being from Pittsburgh, and Let's go grab 5 people from outside right now and ask them what their position on Philadelphia is. I'm sure you're going to get 3 out of 5 people that are going to say Philadelphia or something negative along the lines of like.
See, like, I think it's different though, because like realistically, like I'm in New York and my rival is Boston. I'd be like, it'd be really hard to convince you that Boston isn't a nice city. Boston is a very nice city with very nice people. Philadelphia, it really sucks, dude. It's really dirty and those people suck.
That's exactly what I'm saying, dude.
See, no, but that's like, it is exactly true. Like, that's my point. Is like, I can look from the outside perspective and see like, oh, well, that's kind of dumb. Like, it's 2 cities. You know, they all have their pluses, and Philadelphia is a nice city, and I'm sure there's people that are great. But like, when you get like, if you ask someone, hey, do you want to go wear a Steeler jersey to an Eagles-Steelers game at, you know, whatever the stadium is in Philadelphia? No, you don't. You probably don't. Could people get away with going there and like, hey, I'm just like a nice dude. Like, if an Eagles fan showed up and sat next to me at a Steelers-Eagles game in Pittsburgh, chances are I'm not going to give that guy trouble until he gives me a reason to. And then I'm going to be his, you know, his guy that's just kind of, you know, giving him a shit the whole time. You know, I'm never going to want to fight that guy to the death. Yeah. Right. But there is something where like, that's the issue, because like in alcohol is the #1 issue. If you take alcohol out of stadiums, A, no one goes to football games, but B, like all the issues you run into with all those fights you see on, you know, TikTok or whatever it is, those are not there. The alcohol is what like removes the veil of, you know, being a functioning member of society. Most people don't get into those battles without alcohol influence.
Yeah, without some kind of elixir.
Right.
There's also the mass numbers. The numbers give you de-individuation, makes you think you're less accountable than you are. Meanwhile, you have no idea how many cameras are watching you and how many people are actually watching you.
Yeah. But I think on the surface, especially with like the fan situation, as far as meeting people from other teams, like I spent the last 2 years going to every Steeler game, and I have met so many people from teams that are even like Cleveland and Cincinnati and Baltimore. They all travel here, and if you take time to just greet those people properly and talk to them as a human and not someone wearing a freaking purple shirt, they're just as nice as you. They care just about the same things. They're just human beings. If you met them at a bar and neither of you were wearing the shirt, you would have no clue, right?
Right.
So it's also a decision. Most people who are out there looking to give shit to people are just those people who naturally give shit on a regular basis. So I think on the surface, it does a lot of good when you want it to do good. Like, sports does a great job of bringing people from all over, no matter if it's your city rooting for the same team, or if it's, you know, another city coming to your city to root for their team that your team's playing. There's still a lot of good until you choose otherwise. And then once you choose otherwise, it gives you this platform that can be completely toxic and overwhelming. But I think on the surface, it's good. And that's in the United States. Don't ask me about outside of the United States.
Right.
Because it gets really fucking bad. Like, go to an English League soccer game. When you're at an English League soccer game, so like Leicester plays West Ham today, you have the entire stadium, Leicester fans all around, and in the corner, there's the West Ham fans. Each row on the outsides has security all the way up and all the way down. And there's a good reason for that, because they're not friendly. There's no friendly there. There are hundreds of English clubs in England. Do you know how big England is? It's like the size of Pennsylvania and New York combined. That's it. And there's hundreds of soccer teams. So the territorial nature of it is like, imagine if there were 32 NFL football teams in Pennsylvania. They're probably going to kill each other. So like,
that's one of my points.
Yeah. So that's the point, is like the territorial like overload of it, and obviously maybe not being as welcoming in a sense. It definitely carries over. I think the United States may be a little further along, and maybe we just don't care as much. Like, people really care about soccer there. And like Leicester has a bad background of getting into fights and causing trouble and whatever it may be, just based off the community. Like, when you have that many soccer clubs in a condensed area, obviously there's places that are richer or poor or whatever it may be. So if you have Leicestershire, which is a working class town, and you're going to Manchester, which is this upscale, you know, hibbity dibbity, not only do they not like your soccer team, they generally just don't like the people.
Right.
So that's like, imagine the north side playing Sewickley. Yeah. That's a whole different story than Pittsburgh playing Baltimore, because your city you identify with compared to like Baltimore. The city of Baltimore, the city of Pittsburgh are so widely expanded that it's really hard to identify with a certain part of it. You just identify with the city as a whole. That's pretty easy for most people to do. But if you start breaking it down the way English is in their soccer teams, it turns into pretty much neighborhoods or towns that are like an exit off the highway and then 2 exits down to the next huge soccer club that has its big friggin' fan base just as big as yours. And again, if you're part of a background, a family that like, hey, we had to work for everything we had and blah, 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 and that's who you identify with, and now you're playing a soccer team that identifies with something completely different in a town that's completely different, and they're also in your backyard, there's a reason why there's security guards up and down the stairs.
We'll respect this. It's the Warriors.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally the Warriors, you know? And that right there, that's what drives me to the side of it being, shit, man, the dark side of it, where like, even this is where my brain goes. Okay. The United States government is its own separate corporation. Each single state is its own separate government in itself. So the state of Pennsylvania is its own separate government. That's why when you hear of all this shit not getting done, or why does it seem like nothing's happening or whatnot, because there's so much going on the local side, to the state side, to the federal side, that they're all separate from each other, and people think that they all work together. They really don't. So the state of Pennsylvania is working against the federal government while also with the federal government at the same time.
Right.
So the state of Pennsylvania could literally at any point in time decide that it wants to become its own sovereign state. And there are laws and different rules and regulations on that would ultimately put you and I, or some people, in places of it's time to bear arms and decide to go up against the rest of the fucking country.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of shit that we deal with on a regular basis. So for me, having a town as big as Pittsburgh and a town as big as Philadelphia that dislike each other,
right?
You're just building on that divide and conquer narrative of, well, I couldn't bear arms with that person. They're a fucking Philly fan,
right?
You know, that's where England and London and that whole situation has been so fucking good at keeping their people so oppressed for so many damn years,
right?
Because they have so many damn football teams,
yeah,
that it's chaos to the point where people don't even like their one city over, because we both want to get to the next level of the fucking English Premier League.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Now, I would also, beg to say that I'm sure there's some people, and again, it's the people that choose to want to be like that are the people who are going to be like that. So if you walk into a pub and you're in London and there's a fan from one club and a fan from another, and they're sitting down and they're drinking and they're watching a random game and they start talking and realize who they're fans of, I don't think someone's going to break their glass and slit the guy's throat. Like, that's not going to happen. So I still think there's a decision to be made, and some people who choose to be a piece of shit the whole time. Like, what's the you'll know this, what's the dude from Lord of the Rings? Frodo. Elijah Wood in the soccer movie. Green Street Hooligans. Yeah. So can you maybe talk about that for 30 seconds? You know the movie, right?
Green Street Hooligans, actually, this is one of the things I thought about for this exact question, was just in Green Street Hooligans, for anyone watching, what essentially is happening is there's people who are going specifically to soccer games to fight. Like, that is what they're there for. They're there to watch soccer, but they're there to F up the next city specifically. And they're going to fight at some point.
So that's
like tradition. It's
based off West Ham United. That's exactly who Leicester plays today, which is funny. I think the juxtaposition of like these people going to fight, but they're all like, their like whole thing is like the bubbles they blow before every game. Like, they're known for these bubbles, and they all sing the bubble song. But the whole movie is just based off them beating the shit out of each other.
Sometimes it gets really bad, like horrible.
What was the premise? Like he like doesn't he like they get a draw, like they're in a tournament and they get a draw and they're facing like their like big rival club they haven't faced in 100 years, and he's trying to like break into like the mold of like, you know, this club or the supporter group. So he has to try to prove himself because they're actually going to, aside from the soccer game, like there's gonna be this huge gang brawl that happens outside of the game or something of the sort.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
It's like a big game happening. There's a coming of age story happening. And there's like brotherhood, community, but they also have the rivalry, this in-group, out-group tribalism happening, which, you know, is exactly what we're talking about.
Oh,
and
shit.
I won't say a spoiler alert, but it gets intense, is the spoiler alert. That's as vague and as specific as I'll get.
It would have been a good movie to watch before this discussion, but it's worth watching for your time for sure, because it's exactly what you're saying, like the tribalism basis, especially of that, where you have so much angst built up between communities and so many of these clubs that you're able to identify with in your community, and realizing that, like, again, you know, if the north side of the city and the south side of the city hate each other, that's how condensed these clubs are. So not only can you identify with that club, it just gives you a reason to want to go after these people with like gang type backgrounds. It's really right up the alley of what you're talking about.
Yeah, which is not to say that I don't like sports. It's definitely not. It just, to me, it's just like, I feel like it would be fantastic for people to be able to sit here and say, like, no, I see exactly what these guys are talking about, but doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to continue to enjoy sports. However, I have a different awareness now when I go to a team game, or I now feel like I can go into Philadelphia and go see a Penguins game against the Flyers in Philly. Like,
Yeah.
dude, there was a long time when I was just like, dude, I have no desire to fucking go there to go to a game and then get into it with someone. Especially not going with your ass to a game out there.
Yeah, so that's where you could talk about, you know, a little bit of
Like,
hold on, there was a question about it. So, you know, I think the thought process there is also, I think there's a way of, just like when you play the game, you're able to remove yourself from the situation after the fact. I always tell the story of going to one of the COVID Penguin playoff games. We played the Islanders, who I absolutely hate because they are a trash organization. They are built off of, their entire history is built off of playing dirty hockey. They've never won anything doing it. I think maybe one Stanley Cup in the 90s. I'd have to go back and look. Doesn't matter. Trash organization, trash hockey, garbage league, doesn't matter. And we went to this game against the Islanders in the playoffs, and they're being dirty, and they don't know how to win a hockey game with skill, so they had to beat the crap out of your team. And the guy who's known best for that on the Islanders, he's still there, is Matt Martin. And now I work for said hockey team currently, so this changes where I'd be now. But back before I worked for said hockey team, I was okay with sitting down very close to the ice. No one's there. It's a COVID hockey game, so there's probably 3,000 people in the entire arena, so they can hear every word you're saying. And you know, if I were to see Matt Martin on the street, in no fashion would I go, "Oh, dude, fuck you," blah, blah. You know, I would never. That's just me. But when you're in that realm and it's game 4 of the playoffs, and Matt Martin's skating to you between commercial breaks, and you know he can hear you, he makes eye contact with you, and you take your mask down, and you go, "Hey, Matt Martin. Hey, Matt Martin." And he looks at you and you go, "Fuck you." And he just laughs and skates off. There's something to be said about that being, you know, a little unruly, but also probably understood that in those 60 minutes, you're trying to get one up on the guy that you're competing with, whether you're a fan or a player on the ice. And then after the fact, you can leave it be. But I think that's the decision you have to make as a human being, is like, there is understanding of being in that fashion. I think America, there's a lot of, you know, you should be a family friendly atmosphere. Like when you go to a Riverhound soccer game, like they pride themselves on family friendly. Now our supporter group can be, you know, competitive to say the least sometimes, but in no fashion have they ever gotten like verbal or physical altercations. It has literally never happened. So there's a decision to be made. And I think in America, that decision has ultimately been made outside of, you know, almost borderline blackout drunk people. Like, you ever notice when fights happen on TikTok, it's also the same guy who's making a stack of beer cups, There's always there's 50 beer cans everywhere. So those people are borderline blackout drunk when they get into these altercations, in my opinion, at least. Not saying every single one, but alcohol does fuel that a lot. With that being said, I mean, I think there is that decision in the U.S. to like maybe have this as a place where you can pass it down from generation to generation. You want to share this with your kid, just like my dad took me to baseball games. I want to take my kid to a baseball game. And you want to create that atmosphere that allows generations to continue to enjoy, what you're putting out there as far as enjoying sports as an individual and as your family. There's something to be said about that for sure. But, I think there's other times where, depending on the teams, based off like territory or region, I could be comfortable going to any football game outside of like Cleveland and Cincinnati and Baltimore. And then you got to think twice. You're like, do I really want to make that trip? Like, I'll probably be fine, but God forbid one drunk asshole says something the wrong way and I just can't help myself and my temper gets the best of me and all of a sudden you get pulled into something, because that's usually what's going to happen. Not to say I would, but that's where a random person could just make a decision to go and then all of a sudden find themselves lost in a situation they don't want to be in. But I think in the U.S. there's a conscious decision to be, a little more inviting, but it still does happen a lot. And it's something that I think it's based off more territorial, and those rivalries that you mentioned, no matter how far apart we're spreading, state to state across an entire turnpike, but I still think it's there. It's just a decision to be made.
Oh, without a doubt. I met a badass dude from down south. His name is Gather. And
his brother Hunter.
That's pretty good.
Thanks,
sir. Gather's also a real name.
Okay, anyway. He was super cool, man. He was telling me all about like the different rivalries down there. And he's like, if you want to go find the hottest chicks in the SEC, you go to Ole Miss.
Right.
Ole Miss.
We didn't even talk about college football, dude. Talk about college football.
And he was cracking me the fuck up, man. You want to go there? Now look, we don't ever go to Tuscaloosa because we tell everybody flush twice because it's a long way to Tuscaloosa. He's an Auburn fan, okay?
What a G.
Yeah, he said flush twice because it's a long way to Tuscaloosa. So, everything dumps out of the Mississippi, so it's got to run through Tuscaloosa first. Yeah, man, he cracked me up. He goes, if you want to have a kick-ass time, you go to LSU. Don't ever wear the opposing team's colors. If you go to LSU and you wear purple and yellow, you will have the best time of your fucking life. Those people will get you more drunk, more fed than any place around. Just don't wear the opposite team colors or they will beat the fuck out of you. That's what he said. He said no one goes to any of the big cities in Alabama.
Yeah.
You don't fuck around in Montgomery. You don't fuck around in Birmingham. Really? You just stay out of those. Honestly, dude, I've been told a lot of southern states like stay the fuck out of the cities. Like Little Rock, Arkansas, I've been told to stay out of Little Rock, Arkansas. And we drove through Little Rock when it was pitch black at night, and it looked so badass. They have this big, massive concrete structure that they built like a Little Rock into. They got it all lit up with like LED lights and shit. Looks so cool. I was like, man, Little Rock would be a badass place to stay sometime. Go down to Arkansas for a project. Those guys tell me don't fuck around in Little Rock. You'll walk out with a 6-pack and 6 stab wounds. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit. Like, they're like, none of us in this area go to any city after 10 o'clock. And even getting towards 10 o'clock is pushing it. I was like, fucking A, man. Like, that Gather guy asked me, he's like, you carry a gun? I'm like, no. He goes, man, you must really trust people. And I was like, I just don't know if I come from the same place you come from. Like,
yeah,
like up here, like, yeah, we know not to fuck around in like certain areas at night, but like, it's not like you feel like you can't be in the city. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have we rode our bike at midnight? Like,
right.
Just cruising through the city. Like, there's other cities where you can't do that.
Yeah.
Baltimore, you just don't.
Like, that's crazy to me, to think that like a sporting event would end in an evening where you would end up having to walk through a city or want to like experience the city. And there are towns where you literally just don't even want to fuck around in.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh could be that town, but I think as far as sports go, like I don't think you're getting a lot of Pittsburghers starting shit with people that come into their city. I think Pittsburgh likes smelling its own farts too much, as far as like we really enjoy being that town that identifies the sports so much that when people come from out of town here, we want to show off how great we are. So we deflect away from that stuff. It doesn't happen very often, dude. I go to enough baseball games. I'm at every single hockey game. I go to every football game, and I work every soccer game. So I'm at 3 of the 4 major teams. I'm at every game. And I don't see it really ever as far as like opposing teams go.
You know,
it's the truth. Like, and I go to enough baseball games where
Pittsburgh sports.
No, I make a living doing it. 2 of those 3, I make
Bob Pompiani, I'm coming for your damn job.
I'm not Bob Pompiani. I get paid to be at those places. So you jagoffs, well, you don't pay either because you know me. But realistically,
I just pay for an inhumanly amount of food.
Yeah, you just use all that money to fucking buy food. So with that being said, I think we enjoy having, you know, a welcoming atmosphere so much that it doesn't happen here. We rather fight with each other, to be honest with you. This is 100% truth. I've seen more Steeler fans fight with Steeler fans than I have seen Steeler fans fight with opposing teams. 100%.
We would also rather sit in the Facebook comments and try to get on Mikey and Big Bob on Monday fucking morning.
Oh, dude, I try to get Post Malone.
Yeah.
Give me those 8 a.m. tickets.
Yeah. No, so I think there is still a sense of community. Like we come from such a town that identifies with sports so much that it has a worldwide reach. There are people that identify with teams here from countries and people that have never been here.
In the news right now with the Steelers.
Yeah, there's like a marketing agreement the Pittsburgh Steelers signed with the country of Ireland. Like we're going to end up playing games in Ireland now. They are going to be. We are pretty much the football team of Ireland, which is pretty cool. And like that's because the NFL is spreading its wings even further. We're also probably the football team of like Mexico and 3 other countries. People will say Mexico likes the Raiders or the Cowboys. That's not true. Mexicans love the fucking Steelers, dude. Hell yeah. But
all day.
That being all said, So anyway, he played for the Ravens. We don't like him anymore. So, I mean, with all that being said, I think the community sense in our city, and then, as much as others too, I think it does give people a way to feel a sense of like pride in where they're from. I definitely believe that. So there are positives to it. As far as, I'm sure Philadelphia Eagles fans, they might not have the global reach that like the Steelers do, just for whatever reason. It seems like Pittsburgh is like it's like a junction almost. Like people are always coming in and out. People leave Pittsburgh to go travel somewhere else, and people leave, their places to come back to Pittsburgh because of work or whatever it may be. So there's always people coming in and out of Pittsburgh. It's the way it is. Philadelphia, I think, has maybe a more stronghold on their population. People who are there stay there. And I think the pride is definitely still there for sure. And it gives people from a very early age a sense of community and belonging and wanting to identify with something they see positive. And I think that helps build positive characteristics for sure when you take away all the negatives. So as I said 3 times now, it's a choice in taking the positive things that are there and leaving the negative aside. There's always room for negative in anything we do, but I think there is a lot of positivity to be had based off of your upbringing, making sure that the people that are taking you to sporting events as a child, instill the right positive things, kind of remove yourself from the situation. I think that's why the understanding of like the belonging or the family friendly atmosphere or whatever it is so important to U.S. sports, is because people wanted to share that with their generation and make sure that the positives of that come out and not the negatives.
Yeah, I think geography goes into a huge play into it as well. Because look at the size of Pittsburgh versus the size of Philly. The geography of where the teams are actually at. Like Chicago situation. Chicago is a massive effing city compared to Pittsburgh, where there are going to be, just like Philadelphia is a massive city compared to Pittsburgh. It is. Philadelphia is huge compared to Pittsburgh. So that opens up where all of the economy came through certain areas in that town and just absolutely devastated those areas, because within the last 15 years, we've seen it absolutely crush the small town. Small town America has become almost a thing of the past.
Yeah.
You know, whereas you see it in like cities itself. Like you can see in Pittsburgh right now how much money they're pumping into the Strip District, but how much money they're not pumping into a different place that is turning into a ghetto, if that's the correct word to use, right?
Right.
You know, so I think a bigger city like Philadelphia has that potential to have a lot of those negative pockets, or where that darkness sits more, you know, or the negativity, I guess. And that ultimately stems out to these teams, because I want to still go see the sports events of the day, or I'm a huge fucking football fan, but and whatnot. And you go to these, I just feel like there's a lot of opportunity for the negative in those bigger demographic cities.
Yes.
Whereas like a city like Boston, to me, that's a rich town. It's a harbor town. It's got all these big ass yachts and shit pulling into it. The area in which like the sports aren't even in Boston. For instance, Foxborough is literally 45 minutes to an hour south of Boston.
That's gonna be the future too. I'd bet next Steelers stadium. I'd be a betting man that stadium is not inside the city limits of Pittsburgh.
No,
I'd bet you about all the money I could bet on one single thing. 15, 20 years out, they're gonna rebuild Heinz Field before they build a new stadium. Like they're gonna go through probably the next 2 or 3 years. They're gonna use that good old extra money on kind of rebuilding Heinz Field, because it was never really built to a high level. And you can see some of the new stadiums now being built out. But when you get down the line and say another 20 years, they're going to put Heinz Field in somewhere like Washington County or Butler County or Fayette County.
Bridgeville.
Right in the middle of yeah, and then it'll be a toll road.
Yeah, I just walk to the games.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be, you're gonna have a casino splat right on top of it, and there's gonna be a whole media pocket of like, it's gonna be, you might fucking just name it Steeler Town, Pennsylvania. It might just be a whole, you could build a whole town around the Pittsburgh Steelers. They could absolutely do that, but the way it sits now, just with the casino in close proximity, whatever it may be, it's a good location. I'd be hesitant to say they're in a hurry to get out of there, but to build out like a whole football-based community, they could definitely do it if anyone could.
They're right next to the Tanger Outlets.
Yeah,
we have a casino right there.
They could
already. They could honestly build it like one street over.
I see it being somewhere between Beaver and Washington along the new toll road.
That actually makes a ton of sense. Near
All
near the airport, right near the airport. You don't even have to come in the city.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see it being somewhere out in that area because there's so much land that they're building.
Yeah, near the cracker plant.
Well, yeah, sort of, yeah. Between that,
yeah.
I think that is Allegheny County too, so they'd still any money, but
well, that would be the big
tax to the city.
Right, that would be the biggest thing, is the tax money that comes in, because we're all paying for Heinz Field still to this day, as well as PPG Paints Arena, as well as PNC Park.
Right.
So there is that to be said. They don't want to give up that sweet Allegheny County based revenue. So you'd have to be conscious of where you put it. But I still think there is a reason why they'd want to move out of the city, because most teams are just like, you know, Boston has, they just don't have the plot of land to put Gillette Stadium, to be honest. There's a lot of historical landmarks and a lot of places you can't just dig out like you did Heinz Field. But I'd be interested to see if, I think I'd have to think hard about other teams that are that far out. I know there's a few, like the Dolphins. Hard Rock Stadium is nowhere close to Miami. I went to that music festival there 2 years, and we stayed in South Beach, and it's a 45-minute drive with traffic to get to Hard Rock Stadium. And that's because of the land usage. It's just not there in most cities, and I'd be shocked as Pittsburgh continues to expand if that's going to be the case. They want to keep that stadium there.
They're developing the north side too, so like that edge of Northside, they're starting to gentrify, so
Yeah.
they're not going to have all that property.
They're not going to have parking. They're not going to have anything. Like, that's the same thing with like the Penguins arena. They're running out of room. You're running out of room for sure.
I think Penguins is a perfect example. That's probably one of the best, worst examples because like there's nowhere left to go. As soon as you leave that stadium, there's nowhere to develop.
It wouldn't shock me if they combined football and baseball stadiums back together in the future too, in Pittsburgh.
I don't see that.
You don't think so?
I don't see that happening. But I definitely see them moving to a Robinson or a Beaver, like the stadiums themselves. I see them pulling them out of this city without a doubt.
I think PNC Park is there forever. I don't think the Pirates will leave the city. I think the Pirates will stay in the city regardless. I think they can make because if you move them out of the city, no one gives a fuck.
No, that I agree with that.
But the football team they could put anywhere. They put the football team in Youngstown, Ohio, and people would still go.
Yeah. Star Lake.
Oh, that'd be that would be kind of cool, honestly. That would be the move. Traffic would be a nightmare. That's the issue you gotta think of. The toll road would be great, but 60,000 people, 9 Sundays out of the year, There's a reason why.
Burgettstown exit.
Oh my God, bro. Dude, people would be lining up at midnight. So you have to think about that infrastructure wise, where the hell you put that stadium.
You'd be able to change that whole off ramp there, and you have so much room right there at Star Lake. I'm just saying, they're not going to change Star Lake.
No, anyway.
Star Lake is Star Lake.
On a side note, I kind of want to pull back and highlight some of the positive things because we went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I have on number 1 and number 3, I have some good questions. But number 1, our question was, what are some ways sports bring people together? And I'm just kind of rapid fire.
You don't have to rapid fire. Take your time, Blair.
You guys just pick out whatever things resonate and then say, I fuck with that, and just go off on it. Playing the game itself.
I fuck with that.
Pickup games, the neighborhood kids, getting together with camaraderie, getting kids from different neighborhoods, different schools. Sometimes it offers a new person, some kind of refugee. Derek can definitely vouch. I was the new kid at one point.
Yeah.
And I played football. It was awesome. It gave me a bridge to kind of start to get to know everyone and continue to build relationships. Can offer a home. Sometimes it's a good family, provides a second home, and sometimes it could be that family you wish you had. Sometimes it can challenge barriers and fundamental or man-made differences, between neighborhoods or just groups of classes of people. Can rekindle old nostalgia between groups of people. Say, Ryan's dad just went to visit our old football coach at a funeral because he passed away. But all these people who haven't seen each other in like 30 years, maybe more, got to see each other. Has potential to spark some romance. There's like friction. Derek and I played co-ed soccer. When you got hormones bouncing, like you definitely are checking out the girls, they're checking you out. Communities of parents, teachers, bar patrons, tailgaters. People have no interest in football until the Super Bowl comes, which becomes some people and families' pre-Easter celebration. And then you have people like me who don't ever watch gymnastics, ice skating, swimming, or track until the Olympics come on. Then all of a sudden that inner patriot comes out for Team USA, USA. And there's plenty of people who do that, and I think that's, not a bad thing to bandwagon. But, I think there's a lot of good that come of it. Those are some of the good things. But the other thing I wanted to bring up, which is our number 3 question, is that sense of community and belonging. And I think just by having a well-kept baseball field, soccer field, Derek and I know about Northside Soccer Field. Thank you, Luke Ravenstall, for making that shit.
Amen.
But just having a good field, like in the North Side, changes the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like it changes the whole dynamic. That soccer field on the North Side is one of the best gifts to the North Side that we could ever ask for.
I completely agree. There wasn't a good place for city kids to play any type of sport. There wasn't a good field. The best field we had was down near AGH where you and I would play, or what was the John Mary or whatever it was. Yeah. John Morrow. Yeah. Mary was the football, but regardless, like those are like parks that just really were okay, but we didn't have anything like Riverview. And that's like the Penguins too. There's not, name a sheet of ice to go play hockey on in the city of Pittsburgh. There isn't one. There's PPG Paints Arena. There is not another sheet of ice to play hockey on in the city of Pittsburgh.
Unless you go to NA or Cranberry, and that's like too far.
City limits of Pittsburgh, there's not a sheet of ice to play hockey on. You have to leave the city limits. That's why the Hunt Armory was such a big deal, because they put a ton of privately funded money into putting a sheet of ice in the city of Pittsburgh, because that's a huge deal for inner city kids. I never had that opportunity. Hockey was my favorite sport. I wish I had the opportunity to play hockey. I never did. And that's because there's not accessibility there. So I agree with a lot of those points, like the camaraderie and growing and friends. You know, my two best friends outside of you two are my best friends because I played sports with them from the second I started freshman year. Actually, previously, John, I went to summer training for the soccer team. Before school even started, I met John. And then within 2 weeks, he dragged me to rowing and I met Ryan. And for 4 years, those are two of my three best friends in high school. So, you know, outside, and the other one was the kid I knew since 6th grade. So like, yeah, exactly. From football. I met him before he even came to our school because we played sports together. So that in itself, I think, drives really positive outlooks on where sports can be a good influence for sure.
I think you go through a lot of shit too. Like not only, I think one of the good things is you go through like preparing for war. Like sometimes like that pre-summer, I bet you condition like crazy. You go through that battle. It's almost like boot camp, you know, anybody who doesn't understand the premise of it is like, one, prepare you, but two, you know, you're also breaking down the person, but you're also going through hell together. And through going through hell, then you come out with a bond. But I think a lot of times we go through hell in our sports preparation, during the game, adapting, relying on each other. You need to have someone dependable, and whenever those relationships thrive, it becomes something that lasts like years and years. Like I know Tit and I, we don't ever really play like sports out in public anymore, but you can definitely bet your ass like we're still like teammates. Like, yeah, if that makes sense.
That makes complete sense. That camaraderie that you build can definitely last for several years to come. And
I think it's a good influence as far as, you know, people that might not have, keeping a tracker. Every time I say I write it down. It's positive reinforcement for me to not use filler words. Just let me be people. I'm okay. Coaches. I think coaches are a huge factor. Like, I think that all three of us could probably name at least one coach they had growing up that had some type of positive influence aside from what you were getting at home. I know my rowing coach, I just told Doe the story of screw him, because realistically, the thought process there was there were 5 4-year seniors on the rowing team, 3 boys, 2 girls. 2 girls and 2 boys were named captains of the rowing team, and 1 guy wasn't, and that was me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you have 4 5-year senior or 5 4-year seniors and name 4 of them captains of the team and just leave 1 out? Mostly because the coach knew all the families of everybody, and my dad just didn't give a shit. Like, shout out my dad. I don't need him, you know, kissing ass to get me some type of status. And he never did. My dad showed up at every race. He was not an ass kisser, and neither am I. I take that positively. But, you know, with that all being said, I was obviously not happy. And he said, you know, what's funny is I actually went through the same exact thing I just put you through. He's like, well, I can be perceived as an asshole, and could I have made a different decision? Yes. He's like, but what I will tell you is you don't need status or recognition or anything to prove to yourself who you are and what you bring to the table. Like, some people need these accolades to prove their worth or whatever they are. So do you really need that in your life? And it makes you consider, you know, different lessons like that. I still think he probably could just named me a captain and left it aside. But those are things where, you know, you get into your career or whatever it may be, and you start realizing, oh, these people need to talk about themselves all this much to, you know, they need to outwardly express how great they are. And this isn't against anyone who was named captain. They're, again, 2 of my best friends, a girl I've known since preschool and, you know, a girl I still know today. But on the other side, you know, these people may need, you know, reassurance or whatever it may be, or positive reinforcement on what they're doing, because their work doesn't speak for themselves. Would you rather be a person who lets their work speak for themselves or lets other people speak for the work that they do?
Well, that's where all this, that's where I love talking about the positive side of all this, because I truly do believe that the sports and the camaraderie and the competition and all that kind of stuff does wonders for your personal like self-development. Without a doubt. And just the years that you can like cram into, like even just being someone who played sports, you could even say until high school.
Yeah.
Like playing little league stuff and all that different kind of stuff. Is you made friends for high school from the sports that you played. The people who you hung out with predominantly were the people who you played the sports with. So that right there, just utilizing tools like that to bring together different kids who might not have met each other through just class.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's so much room for personal development, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes this such a positive thing, that it makes me feel like, whoa, why do you always see such the negative? And I'm just like, fuck, man.
No, and I think it gives you as a someone of the youth too, like an ability to see someone outside of class. Like it's hard to gauge who someone really is in the 45 minutes you spend in a class where you're quietly, and all I have to judge off Brandon is the answers he gives a teacher or how he acts. So outside of that, like that camaraderie, or like when shit hits the fan, like how do you act, or like how are you there for another person, or whatever it may be, and it gives more opportunity to actually grow with somebody.
Well, yeah, because when you were back in grade school, it was you like to play with cars or you like to play with dinos. And if they like to play with dinos and you like to play with dinos too, you were friends.
Yep.
However, you start to grow up and you start to like see that there's many different levels and facets to people, and you're like,
I like Jurassic period personally.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It also opens up those positive situations of like a trust fall, like, oh, I can count on these people if I'm falling, or if something's going down. Like I know that I can lean on these people,
right,
who are my friends or who are my teammates or my family,
Yeah.
I think there's something really awesome to build off that. I have it in my notes about Remember the Titans, but I think this is one of the best moments of Remember the Titans is whenever Gary Bertier, aka the All-American linebacker, whenever he calls out his best friend for not blocking and he kicks him off the team. I think that it gives me I don't actually have a little bit of goosebumps because I played football, and like this, Titty, you know exactly what this is like. If you have somebody you can't rely on, that person is worse than the person on the other team, because at least that other person has the nobility. But if there's somebody who's not pulling their weight on your team, and they're actually going to harm you in the process, that person's no good to you.
Yeah.
Anyone who hasn't seen Remember the Titans, there's a guy not blocking for their most important player, the guy that is the most vulnerable. And that's kind of synecdoche for life. You're protecting that most vulnerable person who's like the most skilled player on your team, and then that person gets hurt. So then your protector, your linebacker, comes up to him as the captain and says, "You're out, man. Yeah. No, I can't trust you. I can't rely on you. You're no good to me. Get off the team." And it was like, "You're really going to abandon our friendship?" And it's like, hell yeah, man. Like, you're not pulling your weight. You're putting the rest of us in danger. You're out of the group. Classic in-group, out-group.
Yeah.
You were in, now you're out. But I think that whenever you said trust fall, I thought that's like the perfect example. Is like, there is something to be said about those really deep bonds, about being able to count on somebody 100%. Have full faith.
Yeah, full faith that they'll be there for you at that moment.
Yeah, you're running as a machine at that point. If you turn your car on and one part of your engine isn't holding its weight, then your engine doesn't run.
Spark plugs.
Right.
Yeah, if you're not pulling your weight as a spark plug, then the car ain't running. So you have to remove that spark plug and put something else in there. But it is the truth. It's something where you have to have full faith that every single cog in the wheel is going to do its job. And if you don't have that faith, then the machine isn't going to run.
That's where the sports can literally build, even as long as it's the healthy competition that builds on that capability of like, yes, we are all a part of this team. We all trust each other. We openly are competing against that other team there. That's that camaraderie of being able to compete against each other cleanly, fairly, one becomes the victor, but it's not it's more out of a respect thing, where it's like you have the respect for getting your ass whooped.
Yeah.
I just think that's a problem. Like the validation, like everyone gets a participation trophy. Like where are the things that we think could be like bring the negativity out? You know what I mean? Like everybody getting a participation trophy to me is like, oh yeah, yay, we want to make everybody feel like they were included, but at the same token,
no.
You know what I mean? So like what are things that we can think of right now off the top of our head that like might seem like a good idea or might seem like it's like building something, but like I think it could actually do detriment. Like the participation trophy is one for me.
I think that there's two things on that line that are really helpful to think about. And I think two of them, it's coming down to like coaching / parenting. And I think one of them is a good example, whenever I was probably in about like 6th or 7th grade, I remember one kid didn't show up and we beat this team really bad, but it was like a team we shouldn't have beat. And I joked, I was like, well, maybe that kid's bad luck. And we all had to run. And I was like, sorry guys. And they're like, it's okay, Brandon. But like, it was a joke. But my coach, he understood and he made it apparent, like, no, you don't say that. I don't care if it's a joke. You don't make it, it was Giuseppe's dad who made me run. But
you don't add insult to injury.
Yeah, you don't do that. Like we won. You're supposed to be proud of that, but you don't be like a poor winner. You gotta actually like hold like some kind of standard and don't talk about your teammates that way. Right. And I think it's when you mentioned the participation trophy, I thought about it. I've had so many thoughts around the participation trophy. I think it's hilarious. I think the worst part of it is, so I'm on the other side of the fence, full disclosure. I'm a believer in participation trophies, but under the right structure. Yeah. I think it's supposed to be a structured thing. You don't get it for signing up for the team and then get it at the end of the season. I think James Harrison had no business really putting it on Instagram. Hey, I stripped my kid of this participation trophy. Now give me one. Everyone give me a pat on the back for teaching my kid a good lesson. It's like, no. And then why don't I 2 years later tell Le'Veon Bell not to practice and play so he can get a higher contract? It's like, no, don't do that. Tell him to go get his ass in the game, get his ass in the uniform, and win us the Super Bowl with the 3 Bs.
Yeah.
And then it went on to James Harrison get really mad and upset because he was getting old and wasn't getting in the game as much. And then he got really outspoken about it. It's like, sure, fair point. But, like, you realize we're trying to win the Super Bowl. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess so. But,
right.
But that comes back to what's the point for me? For me, I think participation trophies, I was getting them at the end of seasons. So I think mine came at it came with an important message. You show up to the game, you show up to every practice, you work every practice, you show up, you do something. And at that level, there wasn't a championship game to be had. So the best you have is you practice, work your heart out, your coach keeps you accountable, and that thing is a carrot at the end of the road. But you don't get that carrot just for signing up for the team. You got to come to every game, come to every practice, work hard, and then you get this carrot at the end. But I think we kind of have a ruined James Harrison approach on it, which I respect the hell out of James Harrison. He will whoop my ass. He's one of the hardest working NFL players to ever step on the field. But I think he kind of ruined the whole participation, like, give me a cookie just for showing up. And I think it's kind of bastardized the concept. Because I've got something at the end of every year, and I tell you what, Derek and I, whenever we got jackets for our 7th grade, that thing, the only thing I did to earn that was show up to every practice, work my heart out. But we did not ever win like a Golden Bowl until we left. We had a championship game with just our top rival.
Yeah.
And we would play them. I think we had more penalties than touchdowns. And
Easily.
But yeah, so like
Remember we used to did we show like limos in the Golden Bowl? Like, didn't we make it like
Yeah.
definitely we took a limo to the Golden
Yeah,
Bowl
we got our ass
and then we got our ass kicked.
You know what? That year we got a sweater.
Dude, we look so cool.
But yeah,
Have you built participation trophies for yourself in your life now, though?
Oh God,
as an adult.
Yeah, that's so, I don't like that question, bro.
I definitely have given
Like-
myself rewards prematurely.
Yeah,
100%.
or like a like I know my job is very simple. Like I have to sell things, so like if I don't sell things, like there is a amount of work output that is very metric based that I can look at and say, did I hit that number of phone calls or outbound outreach today? Yep, did it. Didn't sell anything. At least I did that. I'm gonna go home and watch Netflix now. So yes, absolutely. But I think some days like there's the understanding of while the participation trophy could be seen as negative, there is a lot to be said about just showing up. A lot of people just don't even want to show up.
Yeah.
And I think that's 99% of the battle is removing the emotion from it and removing it to the point where it's just a disciplined act. So I think if you can discipline yourself enough to go through that action, then you should actually deserve some type of, self-given pat on the back, because as an adult, it's really hard to get up and do the same fucking thing every day.
I'm not
You don't
taking
always get
anything
rewards
away
for
from
that.
that.
No, I'm just being honest.
You don't always get rewards for that. You're mundane every day. If you have a win, you might just be like, all right, guess I get to drive home now. Like, all right, well, I guess that was just another Wednesday. I'll be back at it tomorrow. We'll just try to win again. And if we win again, I'll drive home tomorrow.
Yeah, I know that I was in a place for a while of just like, if I make it through work, I'll come home, smoke a bowl, and everything will be it'll be all right, And it's just like that leads to, like, for me, that self pat on the back of making it through another day ends up leading to a detrimental thing. Like, oh, I think this is great for me, like, because it's my
Right.
like little yay. That's what I like to do, And then
Yeah.
it's just like, oh well, now you've accomplished nothing, and it is 7:30 in the evening, and like,
You just
Yeah.
watch episodes of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, like I immediately when I think about that, it kind of segues into another point I have where sports can be seen as negative or have a negative influence outside of that would be like the participation trophy would be that my brother was forced to play sports because my dad saw it as something to inflict positive influence on his life. And again, he's not wrong because there are ways when you accept that there are ways to perceive it. Now, my brother did not give a shit about any of that.
right.
So the participation trophy he got just because he showed up for something he didn't want to do in the first place did not mean a single thing. All it meant was thank God that's over. that wasn't a participation. That is the thank God it's over trophy. I made it through this. I guess I can do things that I don't want to do. So I guess there may be a little bit of positivity in that. But I also think that's where sports can be negative. There are so many other creative outlets that you can still build camaraderie with or show yourself different lessons as a youth, where sports don't need to be that influence. You don't need to force sports as a basis of influence on somebody just because you think it's going to inflict positive experiences onto them as a child, because it can easily turn into being negative if you're just saying, this kid who wants to, hey, you're going to play indoor soccer because it's good for you. And that kid's over in the corner playing hopscotch by himself with the balls rolling by him. That kid probably doesn't need to be playing sports. There's probably other ways he can creatively, help himself. And yeah. But no, it's true. And I think that's something to consider is, well, sports can be positive when it's something that you want. And any kid should maybe like, a 5-year-old playing soccer. I don't see anything wrong with that. Like you're getting kids out there and they're socializing and whatever it may be. And eventually you can kind of start to tell maybe that's not something they want to do. But if you're just, hey, you should do this. You can be like this guy. Don't you like the way this guy does this or whatever? And you continue to do that. It eventually reaches that threshold of being positive to the point where now you're just forcing someone to do what they don't want to do.
Right. No. I see that fully. I definitely agree with the let them try every different thing, and push them to try every different thing. Because if you don't push them to try every different thing, then they're not going to try anything once they get older.
Correct.
But I'm still fucking laughing over it's not a participation trophy. It's that's fucking over.
Yeah, thank God.
Fucking over.
Yeah, God, just crickled. Shh. you know?
It's finally over trophy.
But yeah, I mean, no one. I don't think anyone who takes that subject seriously of a certain sport, if that's all they care about and that's all they want, then the participation trophy can be seen as demeaning. Like, oh, like I wanted to win. Why am I just getting a trophy for showing up? That wasn't my goal.
Right.
So there is something that can be seen as the more serious you take it. There's. I know my soccer team, when they get sent down to second league soccer here in 2 hours, they're not getting any kind of promotion or I'm sorry, not any type of participation trophy. They're getting sent to a lower tier of soccer. They're getting fucking sent to the shadow realm, dude, for sucking. And that's what they deserve, because they get paid more money than any of us will ever make combined. One player makes more money than all three of us will ever make in the 50 years we're generating income in our lives. So yes, they deserve to be cast into the fucking shadow realm and be berated because of it. But when you start to crank it down a little further, yes, I think it's as serious as it's taken by yourself and others, based off, whatever else it may be. Combined with that is the fact that, like, in high school football, I'm sure Brandon didn't want a participation trophy if they didn't win their section or whatever it may be. He didn't care, because you're getting to the point of like, right, and that's the furthest high school sports, probably the furthest the mass majority will take their athletic careers. You get into college, you need to start getting looks from different people. People need to decide that you're good for you to start playing outside of high school, until you get into like playing in rec leagues or whatever it may be. With all that being said, though, I think there's still something to be said about participation trophy having a positive manner to a certain extent, until you take it seriously enough, where it's that little window that most people have, which is probably 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade of, okay, I'm actually taking this seriously, because either you're trying to strive for the next level and you actually have a proven ground to do so, or this is your last chance to play this sport competitively. And most people are testosterone up enough, 14 through 18, to go out and actually want to prove themselves and not be shown up, as opposed to Golden Bowl 7th grade, where you and I are just, people were picking me up and throwing me off the sidelines, and I just, woohoo, I didn't give a shit.
I think we were just happy at that time in general so I don't know how your grade school worked, but I just know Derek's and mine, my previous incarnation and St. Cyril's, at the end of the year, we would have a massive dinner, and then we would, each grade at Cyril's would get something useful. At Incarnation, you would literally get a trophy at the end of the year, and it would be like, hey, this person played soccer, basketball, football. Here you go. And for us, it was like a talisman. But I appreciated what Cyril's did a lot better. Derek did his school that I came to eventually was a lot cooler in the sense of it would give you something practical that would be like a talisman. So I don't remember what would come before 7th grade, but I remember in 7th grade, that was a big year because you got your jacket.
Yeah.
Member of the squad.
Dude, I still have my jacket, dude.
I still have it.
Dude, what a way to make you feel like you're a part of something. It's a friggin' blue and gold windbreaker. That was the creme de la creme. And I had all three sports at soccer, basketball, football. That was pretty cool.
So at that point, it's like a piece of your identity. Like, sure, did we win any championships? No, but we also didn't get any championship trophies. Like, the only time that I got a trophy ever at St. Cyril's playing any sport was an MVP thing. I got an MVP award for one game, and then we got we actually got a medallion. What do you call the medallions for the awards? I don't know what they're called, but
good enough.
Yeah, medallion. You get one of the medal. You get a medal. It's way more complicated.
What do you call that thing? Words? What do you call the small word for the big word that I'm saying?
How do you say it? No, but yeah, we got that the one time whenever we came like second place for a tournament. We got a medal for second place, and it was kind of piss you off at a certain extent. Those trophies piss you off more than anything,
right?
Because we were just like, "Fuck! I wanted the first place medal, not the second place medallion."
It is true. Like even like rowing, for instance, the girls for the rowing team, North Catholic, were at nationals. We had two more nationals boats, and they finished right around where we did, around 8th, 9th place, and like. You get to that level, especially like your senior year, like that's the last time I'm ever going to row with those guys. It's such a build up, and then all of a sudden it just falls off. I haven't been in a boat since I graduate. That's like how many? That's 12 years. I haven't been in a boat in 12 years. It just fell off. I was doing it every single day for 4 years. And then I haven't, like, I still play soccer every Tuesday. I haven't been in a boat, something I did to such a higher level than soccer. Soccer was, we won like 5 games in 4 years. Rowing, I was competing for national championships twice. And you get to that point of like 8th place or whatever, which is I think where we finished, 8th fastest boat in the fucking nation. The entire country in high school rowing, that's pretty fucking impressive. But when you get to that level, it's like these goals you're setting for yourself, no matter how old you are. 8th is not good enough. I didn't get anything for being 8th place at all. I got a medal for being like 2nd or 3rd in Midwest, whatever it was to qualify. But 8th is not good enough. It just pisses you off. Fucking all. It pisses you off. And then your career is over. So like, you know, it takes it to a certain point where, you know, you start holding yourself accountable for things. And you're right. Like you have to, I think that's where there's still positivity, even like in your career or whatever you do. And maybe it doesn't have to be a career if you work in a job that you're not very fond of. But a lot of people, I don't think, including myself, when I say a lot of people, it means I'm just talking for myself at least, is the fact that, like, you know, do you challenge yourself enough to still have that drive and that expectation and things that you want for yourself? And the answer for most people is probably not.
I think it sometimes comes down to the meaning of all those things too. Is like, I think the coaches and parents have a responsibility during the course of whatever season of whatever sport to explain to you consistently and constantly, like, hey, this is what this means. Because there's going to be so much hardship you go through that's under the surface. And a good example would be at work. A guy who's higher up, so I have my leads and then my supervisor and then my supervisor's boss. And that guy came by to me. He goes, hey, I just want to let you know you're doing a great job. He might have had no idea what kind of job I was doing. He might have just came by and he might have just said, I just want to tell you you're doing a great job. That meant the world to me because I was like, oh, he took time out of his day to come down. I know, and he knows he might not actually be paying attention to what I'm doing. But that was in itself like a participation trophy where I'm grinding. The parents and the teachers in that sense might not have any idea what kind of internal turmoil I've gone on in my head. But they come by and they reinforce that.
Right.
Like, by you working hard, I respect that. Keep doing it. And then I'm sure each one of us have had one coach at one point who said something similar along those lines. And then you're just like, all right, you know, I might have actually been like a week away from quitting this sport, but because they came by and like reinforced, like, hey, you're doing a great job, it carried me through. Yeah.
And I think there's still something to be said about the fact that you can carry that into your personal life, you know, from the job all the way up to exactly the example you just said. Like any job you might have, you don't know what people are going through. So realistically, you could have this perception that, you know, this employee is working its ass off, but that employee might be, hey, I got to see how this week goes. And if it doesn't, you know, I thought I was cut out for this job, but maybe I'm just not. And, you know, most people don't need that positive reinforcement if they have confidence in themselves. But even I think the most confident person could still, you know, get that pat on the back. Hey, you're doing what we expect of you. Or like, I can see the effort. I can see what's going on. So, you know, those participation trophies of life where you're not, you know, maybe you're not, sales is so easy. Sales is so fucking easy as far as like, you know, considering metrics. Like either you're selling things or you're not. We have a whiteboard and it tells you either, dude, it's either you're calling people or you're not, and either you're selling things or you're not, and that's it. There is nothing. No in between. That's why I like my job. My job, the expectations of my job is very cut and dry. There's no in between or something didn't fall my way. That does happen, of course. You know, sales is very volatile. You know, this month I've had a great month. Next month it might be complete shit. The expectation is that I have confidence in myself, that I've done it before, so I can do it again. There's going to be bad months. There's going to be good months. I've proven time and time again I'm capable of good months. So continue to get those good months under your belt, and when a bad month comes, just have the expectation it's still going to come back to you. So maybe you have someone who isn't going through that, or maybe they get a couple bumps on the road or whatever it may be, and the understanding of having that mentor, that coach, and knowing you're putting in the right effort. Are you doing the right things? If people go through this stuff, you know, that is needed for sure. I think, and a lot of people don't get that positive reinforcement, or the people that are capable of giving that positive reinforcement don't understand how important that can be. Just because you don't need it doesn't mean that the person that you're mentoring or coaching doesn't need it either, though.
Oh, I think Titty hit the nail on the head on why anybody continues doing any of this sports and competition.
Yeah.
It's for respect.
Right.
So ultimately, like, if that's what you're doing this all for, or you're someone who continues to strive for the next level or into the next competition or into the next domain of stuff that you could compete at, you're doing it all for more respect.
If I still play Tuesday night soccer, I still ruin my leg. My shoulder is shot. It hurts. So I can't even throw a football properly still. It hurts like hell. But I show up at soccer and play goalie still. When I play outside the field, I'm whatever. It's just running around. But when I play goalie, it's not because I haven't gotten a concussion, ruined my leg and my shoulder in the last year. I don't just keep showing up because of that. It's because everyone on my team respects what I'm capable of doing for my team. Even if it's just Tuesday night soccer, that means that I pay to play. I don't even get paid. It's not even free. I pay to do it. But like, there's an understanding like, hey, like, we have two really good goalies. Lenny and I are both very, very good goalies. Lenny's better than me. He's been trained. He's played probably to a higher level than I am. I have, for the lack of training I have received as a goalkeeper, I'm exponential. I am fucking spectacular compared to the amount of training I've gone through. I've never been told how to play goalie one time in my life. But I'm recognized as someone who can like anticipate and I have good reflexes and I'm athletic. So there's an understanding like, hey, Derek's one of the best goalies we have out on the field. Like if I went out there and I was fucking up my leg every week and I sucked, I'm not paying $100 every 8 weeks to show up to play soccer. Yeah. There's something I enjoy about it, but you're right. There's still a respect factor of like, hey, like he brings something to the table as a team. I enjoy playing with my friends. Don't get me wrong, but there is like an understanding of that respect. Like you bring something to the table in return, it's a transactional thing. I bring this to the table in return. I want your respect of what I do for the greater good.
Right. To me, that's the nail on the head.
I have a question for you guys along respect, coaching and parenting. Whose job do you think it is to keep parents in line whenever they start yelling at the referee and being unruly?
Oh, themselves. It's typically their job and they're not living by those standards.
So I want to intervene my thoughts on it. I just want to get both of your opinions.
Well, what are your thoughts on it?
I think the coaches hold a certain level of accountability for kicking parents out of the game if they don't listen.
Yes.
I think that they are under the same umbrella, entering in the agreement that the coaches do not work for the parents. The parents are sending their kids through a service that the coach is an extension of parents.
I completely agree.
And that the coaches, they do have a certain, like, they're kind of eye level with parents, but as soon as the parents start to go below what is acceptable etiquette, then it's a coach's responsibility to intervene and say, hey, this ref is doing his job, and also the coaches can't be, cursing out the refs either.
Right.
But I think that the parents at a certain point are distracting from why everyone's there, and they're making it a little bit worse, and they're kind of turning it into that war-like tribalism that was like, hey, this is a simulation. We're pretending this is war. We're not actually at war.
Yeah.
And then we all have seen that parent who's the Randy Marsh, who's like, I thought this was America. That guy.
No,
I would say it's just the collective. I mean, honestly, like, because when I would think that if a coach starts to get out of line, it would be the parents who would need to say like, hey, what the fuck are you teaching our kids at practice then? If this is how you're acting here, you know what I mean? Like, right. I think it just begs or I guess it stumbles around the concept of that we need to be better advocates for ourselves and for like each other.
Yeah. My thought process was when you have a coach in charge of a group of kids, like you're surrendering your parenting to that individual. Like there is no, if you wanted to be the fucking coach, you should have been the coach, like you're not the coach. You have allowed your kid to sign up for a team where there is a clear leader of that team. No matter what your thought process is, you need to remove yourself from that situation, allow the person you have allowed to take charge of your child for a certain amount of time to do their job. Because if you don't, then you shouldn't have signed up for that in the first place.
No, I like that.
So in turn, like when now the soccer team I played for is like my dad never lost his mind after us rowing. We were damn good at what we did, and we had a great coach and great leadership through and through. Now the soccer team, I had 3 different coaches in 4 years. We sucked. We were horrendous in everything we did, including playing. Period. So my dad, we got in the car. What do you do? You're going up and down the field, a bunch of friggin', heads cut off, running around out there. Now he would never be vocal to, the coach about it, but there were parents that would be of like, what are you doing out there? What do you got going on? Like, what are you even teaching these kids or whatever it may be? So I can understand where there's like, revolving door of coaches and frustration of like, hey, I'm putting money and time into driving this kid to practice and games and, like, you're taking away from yourself. Yes, you're signing up that as a parent, but you're taking away from that bank of money, that is time, to take your kid somewhere that is taken away from your personal life. So if you're not seeing the return on investment, which is, hey, at least make this somewhat, competitive, or my kid's learning something or doing anything, I can understand the frustration from a parent, but in turn, I think you're relinquishing that responsibility to the coach, and regardless of what the situation is, you're right. It is the coach's responsibility to keep those parents in check. If you don't think I'm doing a great job, then you come stand here and I'll leave and you can figure this out. Don't act like I'm not trying to figure it out.
Yeah, because at its core, if those kids aren't even having fun, then what is the purpose of them doing any of it anyways?
Right.
So like, now that's subjective. Like for instance, my senior year, my buddies just wanted to be rebels. They wanted to be your typical lacrosse guys who were.
I'd love for both of you to talk about lacrosse for a couple minutes too, because I don't know that realm. That place seems like a whole different
I got
zone.
something to say about that too. After
sorry, Zach.
Oh no, you're fine. But like they castrated me since freshman year for making it onto the varsity team my freshman year. Sophomore year called me a big shot for 6 months.
Yeah.
And just absolutely like boycotted me for like 6 weeks, like just did not talk to me. So like, it's funny. I say these things and I'm like, why the fuck were you even friends with these people for so fucking long? But anywho, regardless, my senior year, I wanted to fucking win. My junior year, we tried really fucking hard because we saw that as the last year. Like, I saw the writing on the wall, like, of who I was going to deal with next year. I was like, so we tried fucking exponentially hard. Fucking junior year, I missed the final shot to fucking send us into the fucking next game, dude. But regardless, yeah, I mean, you see the people who you're going to potentially have to deal with and what level of fun is it for you? Is it competing that is the fun for the conglomerate of the kids on the team? Or is it that we're just here to have a good time? We're here to have fun. We're here to this is our place. This is our social gathering.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that domain has to be set. That precedence has to be set early. Like, what do you guys want out of this team?
Yeah.
Like, not me as the coach. Like, what do I want to see happen for us? But like, what do you guys want to do? Like, are we just here to have fun for the next, 8 weeks?
Right.
Or are we here to fucking compete?
I agreed. Yeah. I think that's where I fall in the juxtaposition of like the rowing team, which was so serious. And we competed at such a high level, to the soccer team where it was co-ed and all we did was smoke pot in the woods, and we ran our own practices. There was a point senior year that our coach didn't show up. We just ran our own practices. Half the team showed up. So it's kind of like that understanding of like, hey, 5:45 rowing practices, you're going to bust your fucking ass. You're not even going to be able to pay attention in school because we ran you so dry, to the soccer practices after where it's like, hey, let's go smoke some pot in the fucking woods and kick a ball around for 2. Oh, is that Ben Roethlisberger down there, bro? Holy shit, Yeah. So it's it is interesting to see.
I'd like to point out that actually happened.
Yeah, no, it did happen. I met Ben Roethlisberger at soccer practice. Still got the picture of my autographed football.
That's
And I'm
wild.
so upset. That's like the week that we weren't there. It was like the football team was just like, all right, this week we're gonna go back to the school. And it was like, hey, did you hear about Ben Roethlisberger throwing the soccer guys? And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Let me say this too. It was a co-ed soccer team at that point, and every person there made the joke and tell the girls, "Don't go in the bathroom."
Jeez Louise.
Yep, fair enough. Well, I mean, hearing those jokes. But,
Yeah.
Tit was asking us about lacrosse, and I think that this is something I was going to bring up earlier. It's so funny. I know that you both probably already know this, but did you know that lacrosse was a war simulation game?
It's like Indian, like tribal Native American base, right?
So it would be played. This is all word of mouth. So
People
take it with a
died.
salt. Yeah, it was like a mile-long field that they prepared for war, and that'd be like simulating weapons. So they would have it going all the way down, and that kept people in shape. They might do it a couple days right before they go into battle, but it essentially was to keep people fresh and ready to go.
Yeah, dude, it was all out death wars. You just beat the living shit out of people
Yeah.
with sticks. There was no,
Wood hurts.
yeah, there was no,
Yeah, no thanks.
there was no fucking bars. Like, it
Imagine
was
making your own too. You make your own stick. I don't know if that's how it worked, or if you go to your own like lacrosse smith, but yeah, can you imagine making your own stick and you're like, I got the best stick, and it's like, no, I got the best stick. I'm gonna whoop your ass.
yeah, you go find the best tree and you wilt this tree into, because all those sticks was just a piece of wood that they ended up heating up by like steaming it, and they would bend the top of it. So like the old sticks, they had string on one side, but the other side of the actual stick was the tree itself.
Oh, damn.
So like one side you're getting hit by the mesh, but the other side you're getting the fucking whooping stick. Like the whole stick was a tree in itself. Like, and that's where Titty's talking about. Like, that's where you like went out and seek the best fucking tree
Yeah.
to build your stick. And like,
I wish it was still like that. That's pretty cool.
I still get wild
Titty,
online.
I was gonna say Titty still has that fascination for sure. Like he came over my place a couple weeks ago, and he's sitting there like, "Oh, if I change this head and this netting and tie this down a little bit, and I get the stick and this is a long pull, but if I get the short pull and add this in," and I'm like,
The
"Damn, dude."
balance, you could feel the
Yeah.
balance as soon as you pick it up. You're like, this is perfectly balanced.
Yeah,
I think that's what made sports like that so fucking amazing back in the day, because
Right.
that's how much of a connection you still had to nature in the process of the actual competition.
yeah, for sure.
Like, I have to go out into the woods and I gotta go find the best fucking stick. I gotta go talk to the trees. Thanks. I gotta go talk to the trees and find the best homie that's
Yeah.
like, yo, which one of you guys is not gonna break whenever I
Yeah,
beat
who
you
got
across
that
someone?
redwood, bro?
Yeah. Who's got that
Yeah,
dank wood?
Yeah, who got
Like,
that redwood, bro?
I need that strong shit. I need that wedding dick strong shit. All right.
On a side note, I don't know how much time we have. So
We're getting close to our $1.30, but we keep rolling.
Bring it up and then we'll ride out.
Conversations. So one of the questions we have is number 7. Can sports be a way to promote social and emotional learning? And how can coaches, educators use sports to teach important life skills? I think we touched on one of them recently, but I think this is also important just because of my background from the podcast. Anybody who's listening, I have a little bit of background in counseling and some different jobs in that realm. But one of those jobs, I worked with children at this capacity where you might be challenging someone to read social cues and intentionally change the rules of the game to test the waters of discomfort and unease or change. And it's done so in a controlled environment. So it's inevitable that it happens in real life, whether it's a game or a conflict, everyone still plays nice. I think the focus needs to stay on this sense of play with a structured effort aimed towards becoming something better as a unit and an individual. I think that it may also have a hidden ability to practice facing our adversities with courage, etiquette, and confidence. So that was a big mouthful, but I think like it touches on what we're talking about is like it's supposed to be like a smaller life experience to translate to bigger life
Right.
experience. But what do you guys think about like
No, I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think the competition should be your identity shouldn't be attached to it. It is ultimately what I would say.
Yeah.
Like, I am a cyclist, but I'm not a cyclist.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
it's anything. That's any role in life. Like you put too much weight on a certain part of yourself, and you're identifying with something that isn't even you.
right.
Yeah. It's like acting like you're like your actions, or your not even your actions, but your thoughts are yourself. Like you're not your thoughts. So why do you put so much weight on what you think? Like so many people think of worrying about past or future, but no understanding of what is in front of you. Literally, all that matters. Like you're giving weight to two things that literally do not exist at any point.
Right.
Like the past does not exist and the future does not exist. It really, truly fucking doesn't. So if you put all your weight on either of those things, just like a role in your life, then all of a sudden you're too focused on one thing that truly isn't even you at all. Like that's just something that you do. It's not an identifying factor of your life. It's just something that you tend to identify with, or you strive to enjoy. It's just something that the spiritual being enjoys being a part of. It doesn't mean you identify with that action. It just means it's something that you perceive as enjoyable, and you should stop putting so much fucking weight on it.
Right. No, without a doubt, because right then and there, if you tag everything to that one concept, then you're one dimensional.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, man, they say like a jack of all trades is a master of none, but like at least the jack of all trades tried all the different trades.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
experienced all these different things and
Yeah.
did all this different shit and didn't just do the one dimensional, one dimensional thing.
That's like if you get that one person who's like, they've always done fencing their entire life, and then you go to play, like, we had one kid come to play rugby and pissed everyone off because we'd have to run every time the ball was dropped. And we're like, we're going to kill you, man. If we drop the ball one more time, all of us are going to ambush you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say, like, that is really important. Just get a variety of all those things.
Yeah, try as much as you possibly can.
Right.
See what makes you feel good. See what do you like experiencing?
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything wrong with like what I said earlier, like someone like my brother, I mentioned, having to go through the process of being involved in sports. But, I don't know what the expectation was. Maybe it's because my father enjoyed sports and saw that as like a foundational piece of his childhood. And that's where it reflected off on like making sure that did. But like, who's to say if my dad was a musician and hated sport, like my brother, will my brother be more inclined to push his child into playing sports? I'd argue no, because his, expectations and his reality was that music helped him become, a further growing human being, and it helped him expand his creativity and different muscles that he was learning to use as a child. So I think our own individual experiences help, drag what we're going to push our new generation into. But I think that's the big nail on the head is I love music. I probably wish I would have taken the time when my brother was 12, 13, learn how to play the guitar and doing the same thing, because I feel now at 30, not that I missed the boat, I still have this, this inkling to want to do something musically, regardless if it's just listen to music or, go to shows or whatever it is, that maybe there was something more of an outlet there for me. So I think that's the biggest thing, is not only allowing yourself, but allowing whoever it is in your life or whoever it may be to have an understanding that you should be able to expand your horizons and try new things and want to figure out what works for you. And if nothing ever works for you, that's probably not going to happen. But the understanding is that if you try more things, chances are you're going to find something that you like that you never would have in the first place.
Right.
I never would have rowed. I never been a rower. When first rowing practice, I showed up to, I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm in a boat and I row and that's it. I don't get it. I don't get it. And this is very hard and it hurts.
That
And
was me for 4 practices.
and like, what's Hutch Bailey?
Yeah.
We have showed up to one practice. The biggest, strongest, meanest football kid showed up to one practice and threw up and left. Never came back. I can do this. Whatever shows up, pukes in a fucking bucket and leaves. So yeah, you have this expectation of like yourself and what you can bring to the table. But there's also the thing where you turn around and go like, okay, there are reasons to believe in what I can do and what I can't do, and finding things that you might not would have ever done for yourself, or pockets in life where you never would put yourself in that situation and find, you shock yourself even. Like I never thought I would have loved rowing, and it's one of the most fundamental parts of who I was growing up.
Hell yeah. Well, I think that stems on to a very controversial topic for an episode of like being an adult, and all the trials and tribulations of dealing with that. And then on top of being an adult, being a parent.
Yeah.
And I'm not a parent yet. I know none of us are parents yet, but we've experienced a lot of parents. We've seen a lot of different people be parents.
Right.
I think we can speak pretty heavily on that topic. And to me, man, I personally, and this is I'm not taking anything against any single person that I know, but I have not seen a good parent yet. And what I mean by that is, and I mean like an exceptional parent, I guess I should say, because there are so many great parents out there who, on a literal point that you made today of just showing up,
right?
Showing up is so much of that battle. It's 95% of the battle,
Right.
Of just, we've seen so many good parents who have not given up on us.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell you bring to the table, your parents still love you. They still are there for you. They still try to do whatever they can for you.
Right.
There's a lot, I guess I should say there are a lot of people who haven't experienced that or have lost that. So for me, like, I don't know if I've seen an exceptional parent out there, because I think that our whole dynamic of the family like structure has been under attack for so long.
Yeah.
Of just trying to blow up the like dynamic of the family. Like, I mean, we've seen it with the whole movement that's like pushing like the stupid dad and
Yes, pushing any kind of strong man to be like a masculine oppressive force. That's the case.
and so I think that there's been so much attack on what would have been our parents that they didn't even know what was happening, man. And like only now, with like how much we have the internet and how much we can communicate with each other, are more and more people finding that person that's like, but you think like I do? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's someone else out there that thinks about this stuff too? Like, oh wait, there's this many people out there that think about this stuff too?
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, I thought I was ready to fucking off myself. You know? Like, no, I think that leads us into that whole concept of like, of thinking about being a parent, thinking about being an adult, and all those things that transpire from all those decisions that have to be made. And a lot of them got to be made pretty quickly. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's a whole different episode for sure. Because I mean, I have opinions on that. I'm like, it's like putting too much weight on your parents. Your parents are just human beings, bro. You're about to fuck up. Like, there's so many. My dad was my age when he had me. If I had a kid right now, oh my God, bro, what?
But I think the hard thing is like, whew. I have so much respect for my parents, and I have so much respect for so many parents that I've seen around me.
Yeah.
But like, if you're that self-centered that you can't take a little bit of criticism, like being kind also comes with that, like being kind. Sometimes you got to be a little tough. Like, being kind doesn't always mean that you're daffodils and daisies. Being kind might be slapping someone in the ass to say like, hey fucker, you're doing shit wrong. So like, yeah, I think there's so much to stem off of just like the competition and that being a part of life in itself too, of being an adult.
Yeah.
And dealing with that, like there are different careers and professions out there where you are competing against somebody else, or you're at one of these big companies that you're now working alongside of 20 to 30 other people who are at the same level as you. And the next level, there's only 10 people on the next level. And one of those guys is about to move up to the following level. So now there's 30 of us competing to get to that next level of that next pay raise.
Yeah.
So that right there, like,
you're signing up for the role. Like, you signed up for that role. So there's an expectation. Like, there's like your job, exactly as you mentioned. There's a minimum set of requirements that you have to, meet to get to the point where you're seen deemably, the person that needs to be in that role or whatever it may be. So that's exactly what you're saying too. And I think I agree is, if you're a parent, like you're signing up for a minimum requirement that you have to meet. And without that, like the expectations are, then why'd you put yourself in that role?
Right.
If you're overshooting and trying to get a job you're not qualified for, and you get that job, and all of a sudden you're, okay, what the fuck do I do now? Then what were you thinking in the first place?
Yeah. So Last question of the day. Could you live without him?
No.
He could not. He could not.
One fucking nothing, boys. Let's fucking go. Okay, sorry.
I think that answers. I thought that was his answer.
That is fucking perfect timing, boys. They were buzzing. Look at this. Can these people live without that? Look at this. Oh,
Kim Jong.
the voice. That's our owner. He's from Thailand. Oh, the boy. They can't live without it. I'll tell you that. Oh my god, that's huge. Okay, so anyway,
So
can
they
we live
can't
without
lose
it?
today?
Just they have to win, and one team has to draw or lose. One team cannot win, and they have to win, and that's it. And they're at 1-0. The other team is 0-0 tie. Oh, that's big, boys. Okay, so anyway.
So can you live without sports?
Me as an individual, I make a living in it, so no. But there are reasons why I work in sports. I think from a young age, I just always loved the energy and the passion, and it's one of those things like driving your car 120 miles down the fucking freeway. It's something that makes you feel alive. If you go to a Penguins playoff game and there's 18,000 people screaming while there's an air raid siren playing and they're just losing their there's something so invigoratingly and life fulfilling about that to me. And that's why I made a living working in the exact environment. So to me, no. But for me to say that every person in the world can't live without sports is completely false. That's just something that makes me feel alive and generates like a source of energy that you can't get without it. Now, to say someone like, again, my brother doesn't feel alive going to an awesome rock show or playing a killer open mic set or whatever it is, that's, narrow-sighted to think that sports mean the same thing to other people as they do to me. So I would say, dude, can I? No. I make a living off it. I play it. It's been a part of my life for a very long time. So I know that it means a lot to me, but I also understand that as a broad perspective that it may not have the same role in other people's lives. And we have to be conscious of that.
For me, I could live without sports. I can't live without competition.
That's a great point.
I can't, for me, I couldn't live without there being accolades or things that you can accomplish that other people can't accomplish without putting down some hard time and some hard labor and striving to do that. See, that's where the sports for me, it fucks with the competition so hard because that whole atmosphere of wanting to be the best, too many of us try to cheat the system and they try to go around or they try to make it this or that. What I could do that would make me feel way cooler about the whole situation is I would like to see the Pittsburgh Steelers owned by the fucking city.
I agree. I think that would be sweet. Yeah. Just like the Packers. Packers are the only team.
And I didn't even know that.
Yeah. But Packers are owned by the people.
Like if all of those professional sports teams were actually owned by like private groups of people, and what I mean by that is you want to buy into the Steelers, $10,000 buys you into the Steelers. Now you're on the board.
Yep.
And do you know how many fucking people would show up to
God,
$10,000 to fucking be a part of it?
For sure.
You'd run out of fucking
There'd be a
spots.
waiting list.
There'd be a waiting list to be a part of it. Right. And that right there would then build onto those teams being even better and better. So like a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates, when that team's owned by now the city and we're all pumping in this money, then that team is not going to be bad anymore.
No,
like,
I promise you.
To want that team
I promise. Right.
So I think right there, like for me, sports could go away and be completely restructured into something completely new. And I would love that. But competition for me cannot. Competition for me can't go away.
I agree with that. I think the money hungry factor. One thing we didn't even get into is U.S. soccer. I fucking hate U.S. soccer. I just worked a game where 6,000 record attendance people at a Riverhounds game all time. That team's been around for 20 plus years. Never have they had over 6,100 people at a stadium. They were there on Wednesday, and we beat an MLS team. the Riverhounds beat the Columbus Crew. I don't care who played. There was a jersey that said Columbus Crew, and there's a jersey that said Riverhounds. And the team with the shitty fucking team on the Mon and the dirty ass river on a railroad beat the fucking biggest team in the U.S. Top 5 probably.
Yeah.
One of the oldest MLS clubs around. So just as I'm watching this soccer game, if my team does not hold this lead, or if the other team that's playing out right now just scores 1 goal and they hold that lead, it's over. They're getting sent down because they weren't to a point where they were competitive enough. They do not deserve their place in a Premier League standing. In U.S. soccer, no matter how good the Riverhounds are, they could beat every MLS team in the world. It's all about the money side. And when you have something like that where U.S.-based soccer is all about, well, why would we put so much money into a sport if we're just going to get sent down to a lower league and we're not generating that revenue? It's so ass backwards of what's going on that you're exactly right. There should be a reformation of, how sports are looked at. Like when the general public's paying for every stadium in this fucking city, we should have a say in what the hell goes on. Not, hey, let's build PNC Park to be absolutely beautiful with our tax money and then watch a shitty baseball team for 30 years. I guarantee every person in this city agrees with that statement.
And I think that's what this whole podcast like kind of embodies. Is that whole mentality of us like restructuring things or looking at things a different way and saying like, yo, we could make this way fucking cooler if we just all came together and instead of like being worried about what the fuck is going on The Voice tonight or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
who's the latest judges?
We got our Tuesday episodes to watch, you know what I mean?
Right.
Come home and we start actually like building some knowledge for ourselves because we are in the age of Aquarius. Like this is the age of enlightenment. This is the age of knowledge. This is the age of understanding. And like, why the hell would you not take all this capabilities of all this like vast knowledge at our fingertips at any point in time? It's right effing here.
Right.
Like, let's start building some knowledge. Let's start building some foundations together and let's start making some new shit because some of this stuff's kind of played out and you're tired of listening to someone bitch about the English Premier League. I got friends who I listen to them bitch about the English Premier League, bitch about it, soccer all the time every time I see them. And I'm just like, the fuck you bitching about that for?
Yeah.
Just like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like every time I see you, it's the same damn thing, you know? Like, shit, you know? Or the people who are always bitching about the Pirates, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that stuff wouldn't happen. We would be accountable for it. Yo, you want to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates? Everybody gets a chance to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but who the hell is going to be the best to show up? You know what I mean? Like
that is like the epitome of a participation trophy is the Pirates. Just, we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we showed up again.
Yeah, we're here. You guys want a bobblehead?
They do. They beat the Pirates meet the minimum requirements of a professional baseball team. They spend to like the floor. You have to spend a minimum amount of money on the salary cap. They always spend just right above the minimum. And they show up and they field a team and the stadium turns on. And that's really all you got to do. They have enough history, enough background, and enough funding to meet the minimum requirements. It's like how McDonald's is the minimum requirements of a fucking restaurant.
Yeah.
They don't go very beyond that. They just do, hey, we're not 5-star. We're not, Michelin rated. We're fucking McDonald's.
You have the above.
We're
average
beef.
Real
You're
chicken.
lucky it's beef.
You're lucky, McDonald's. You're lucky it's beef.
We have the most. What they have at least 35% real chicken in the McChicken.
Oh,
Wait,
it's easy.
35 is like that's above average.
It's above average.
I'm not joking. I mean, that's a real thing.
That's crazy.
On a side note, I want to make sure I touch this because
Fuck yeah. Touch it and we'll ride out on this.
So could we live without them? I don't think I can. When I was younger, I was small and I felt like not a whole lot of impact through things like taekwondo, soccer, football, basketball. It helped someone like me feel a little bit more strong and capable and kind of built me into a niche. But I think, honestly, it helps us simulate controlled aggression, strategy, finesse, and structured effort and growth over time. And I think that is something that's always going to be constant. We're going to have that with sports. We're going to have it with chess. Sorry if someone considers chess a sport. Whatever. But it is. There's strategy.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff built into it.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, there's that too. And
And bears.
I think
Oh my.
we'll come back to And this is something as me, I'm an Adlerian therapist. I'm like mentored down through Adlerian. Like I'm like the descendant of Adler as far as mentors. But he has one of these things, inferiority versus superiority. We're always instinctually, I think, gonna like look around the room and we're gonna say, that person's better than me in this. I need to work harder. And I think sports is a very good way to hold value. And maybe you're playing soccer and you're the person who kicked the ball furthest, and you're going to build confidence in that. We're all going to find something that feels good and we're good at. And I think sports is one of the ways that we can kind of demonstrate that competency and find who we are. And I think the superiority, inferiority is an absolute necessary part of us pushing ourselves further. And if we're not, then we're probably, we might need to get a little bit of mental health. Like if we are like at this point, like, screw it, I'm done. I'm okay with, the next person being better than me at everything and me not having a single niche. I think that's a red flag for concern.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, it was definitely sports. Definitely are a place for mental health to strive or be a detrimental situation. But no, I agree that it can. I definitely like the concept of thinking about how impactful sports can be to you and your development, without a doubt.
There's a certain critical age of like feeling that you can actually impact the world around you, and I forget what it is. I think it's industry versus inferiority. I think the virtue you come out with is like worth or competence, and that's around like ages 9 to 12. I might be way off on all these. This is just a general number.
No, that makes a lot of sense because if you're 9 to 12 and live near Cooperstown, PA, you can change a lot of different lives with that major league fucking championship, major league, minor league, whatever, major league.
Is that
what the fuck is
Little League.
Little League,
Yeah.
Little League, major, yeah.
You're way off. Cooperstown is also in New York. You're thinking of Williamsport. You were 0 for 2 there.
Oh, wow. Well, it's baseball. Who cares? No.
Cooperstown is in New York, I believe.
Sure about that?
I know it's not in Pennsylvania.
I know it's not in Pennsylvania.
I'll go ahead and say it's not in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Substitute producer. No, I don't have like that. You guys are beat.
But no, regardless, yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. So, all right, y'all, that was another kick-ass episode where we were discussing sports and competition.
Fucking go Foxes, bro.
And
45 down.
45 down.
45 minutes, halftime, rolling up. 1-0.
Here we go, baby.
1-0. Got to hold this result right here, and we're staying alive. Another year of shitty soccer.